Discover how a heartwarming blind date transformed a lonely CEO's life, an incredible love story. Jack, the 38-year-old CEO of a Chicago tech startup, was a man who seemingly had it all. His office was on the 40th floor of a sleek high-rise, his name echoed in industry circles, and his vision drove innovation. But beneath the glass walls and the accolades was a life painted in shades of gray. Each day, he thrived in board meetings and pitches, yet at night, he sunk into lonely silence, staring at the stars above a city that felt distant. Friends' calls went unanswered, family dinners were mere videos on a screen. He was a ghost haunting an empty mansion of success. The community event at the park was bustling with laughter and small talk, vibrant music filling the air. Jack felt out of place, a stranger in his own neighborhood, until Ruth, his gregarious neighbor, swept him into a whirlwind of well-meaning nudges. "You need to get out there. I know someone perfect for you, a blind date," she declared with unmistakable enthusiasm. For Jack, the very idea filled him with dread. Connecting made him vulnerable, a feeling he had long buried beneath ambition and achievement. As the date approached, he felt a torrent of emotions, dread mingled with a peculiar curiosity. The quaint cafe buzzed with conversation, its warm lights casting a golden glow as he arrived. That's when he saw her. Lily, a recently downsized school librarian, wore an air of quiet resilience. Her smile made Jack's heart race for reasons he couldn't define. They wrapped their hands around warm mugs of coffee and dove into their stories, moments of vulnerability spilling forth between sips. Jack revealed how his relentless ambition had distanced him from his siblings. Lily shared her journey through economic struggles and feelings of unworthiness. Laughter bubbled up between them, yet the unspoken weight of societal expectations loomed large, a dark shadow over their budding connection. But soon enough, whispers began to swirl like leaves caught in the wind. As Jack and Lily ventured deeper into each other's worlds, skepticism crept in from their friends and families. "She's not your type," they said. "What will people think?" Jack wrestled with their words, torn between his feelings for Lily and the relentless pressures of appearances. Just when everything seemed to align, the cautionary voices became deafening, casting doubt on their fragile bond. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Determined, Jack finally spoke up in defense of their love, raising his voice against the doubts that threatened to drown them. True worth isn't defined by status. It's about kindness, integrity, and character, he declared, realizing just how much love and family mattered now more than ever. In that moment, something changed in Jack. He felt lighter, more alive with each heartbeat. He began to understand that connection wasn't just a luxury reserved for the elite. But then, just as he began to open his heart, a disapproving family member surfaced, questioning his choices in public, and doubt flickered in Jack's mind like a candle extinguished by the wind. The lingering question echoed loudly, "Can love endure when societal expectations press heavily upon it?" As his heart hung in the balance, Jack faced his greatest challenge yet: fight for a connection that could redefine his life, or retreat to the solitary shadow he'd known for so long. Jack's determination to defend his feelings for Lily ignited a fire within him, one that he couldn't easily extinguish. He knew he couldn't allow the doubts swirling around him to take root. But as the days passed, the weight of disapproval grew heavier, and each encounter with Lily was laced with an undercurrent of tension. Every time they were together, he could feel the unspoken words hovering in the air, words that could either shatter their connection or strengthen it. One evening, as they strolled through a nearby park, the city lights twinkling against the darkening sky, Jack took a deep breath. He turned to Lily, the hope in her eyes reflecting in his own. "What is it that makes you happy?" he asked, testing the waters. Her gaze softened, and she paused, her footsteps slowing. "I think it's being seen for who you are," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. When I lost my job, I lost more than my position. I lost my place in the world and I felt invisible. Jack's heartbeat quickened, and he felt a pang of empathy. He knew that feeling well, the isolation that came from being misunderstood. I see you, he said, hoping his voice could carry the weight of his sincerity. Being with you, I feel more like myself than I have in years. Their eyes locked, and for a brief moment, the outside world faded to nothing. But then the doubts came rushing back like a storm cloud overhead. Do you think they're right? Jack asked, his voice trembling slightly. That you're not my type? Lily's smile faded, her brow furrowing. What does that even mean? Type? He ran a hand through his hair, frustration bubbling within him. I don't want this to end. I care about you, but they seem to think we're a mistake. No relationship worth fighting for is a mistake. Her eyes sparkled with a mix of resolve and vulnerability. It's not their happiness that matters, it's ours. Jack stepped closer, drawn to her conviction. These were the moments he had yearned for, the real, raw conversations that connected souls. Yet the paradox twisted in his chest. Could he really toss aside the opinions of those he loved? As they stood in that park, where laughter and chatter faded into the background, Jack made a decision. No more second-guessing himself. I want to try, he said, his throat tight. To fight for this, for us. Lily's eyes brightened, and he felt an overwhelming surge of possibility, a heartbeat of hope. But as they clasped hands, a new fear crept in. What would it take to silence the noise surrounding them? The next day, a family gathering loomed on the calendar, one he could no longer ignore. That evening, with Lily beside him, he would have to face those who doubted him most, the very voices that had planted seeds of doubt. This was no ordinary dinner. It would be a test of courage. As Jack stood at the threshold of that impending challenge, he realized that love wasn't just about connection, it was about choice. Could he be brave enough to choose Lily? The moment of truth was almost here, but how would his family react? Jack's heart raced as he parked the car in front of Lily's apartment. The sunset painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, but all he could feel was the tightening knot in his stomach. Tonight wasn't just a gathering, it was the battlefield where he'd defend his love for Lily. He took a deep breath, wishing he could have dived straight into the warmth of their usual banter instead of facing the storm brewing ahead. When Lily came down, dressed simply yet stunningly, it provided a momentary distraction to his swirling thoughts. She caught his eye, sending a jolt of electricity through him. Ready for this? She asked, her voice a blend of excitement and anxiety. Jack nodded, forcing a smile. As ready as I'll ever be. Arriving at his family's house felt like stepping into an arena. The familiar sense of baked lasagna and garlic filled the air, wrapping him in nostalgia. Laughter echoed from the living room, but Jack could feel the weight of unspoken judgments creeping in from the edges. The moment they walked through the door, his mother spotted them. Jack! There you are! She exclaimed, her cheerful tone brightening the atmosphere. And you must be Lily! Welcome! Lily flashed a warm smile, but Jack noticed how her shoulders tightened. He could see the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes as they exchanged pleasantries. He stepped back slightly, ready to shield her. They mingled with family, but he sensed the scrutinizing eyes evaluating Lily, his mother's questioning gaze, his aunt's skepticism. Once dinner was served and everyone settled around the table, the moment of truth loomed. Jack's heart pounded as their plates were filled. Small talk flowed beneath the surface of tension, but he could feel the shifts. Lily's laughter seemed a little forced, her fingers tightening around her glass. I heard you lost your job recently, Lily, his older brother, Mark, suddenly spoke, his tone casual but laced with judgment. That must be tough, especially in this economy. Jack inhaled sharply, feeling a wave of protectiveness wash over him. That's not an easy thing to discuss, Mark, he interjected, his voice firm. Lily handled it with grace. Grace? Mark raised an eyebrow. What kind of future can someone who just lost their job offer? The table fell silent, as if time paused. Jack's chest tightened. Lily glanced at him, And in that look, he saw a plea for support, a silent question, "Are you with me?" "I see more in Lily than just her job status," Jack said, his voice steady. "She is smart, strong, and has an incredible passion for life. That's what matters." The dining room buzzed with unsure murmurs. He faced a wall of resistance, but he couldn't back down now. He turned to Lily, ready to lean into this with her. "You aren't defined by your past. You're still discovering what makes you happy. Just like the rest of us." Tension hung in the air, thick and palpable. Jack's family exchanged glances, surprised at his passion. A moment passed, and then his mother broke the silence, her expression softening. "I just want you to be happy, Jack. We all do." Lily smiled, albeit timidly, the slightest hint of relief washing over her face. Jack felt the ignition of hope stir within him again. The conversation shifted, attempting to find common ground. They spent the rest of dinner sharing stories and laughter, though Jack remained acutely aware of lingering glances. He knew that this battle wasn't won yet. As the evening wore on, Jack leaned closer to Lily. "You did great," he whispered, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Her eyes sparkled, but a shadow of doubt lingered. "Do you think they'll ever accept me?" "I hope so," Jack replied, his heart aching for her. "But even if they don't, we'll figure it out together." In that moment, the walls felt less daunting. Love was bold and fragile all at once. But could they face the storms still ahead? A sudden burst of laughter echoed from his brother, cutting through Jack's thoughts. He realized this was only the beginning. In the weeks ahead, challenges still loomed. Would love prevail against the storm of disapproval? Or would insecurities threaten to unravel everything they had fought for? Jack locked eyes with Lily, determination written across their faces. Together, they were ready, though the journey ahead was still uncertain. The following week felt like a whirlwind. Each day brought a fresh wave of tension, mixed with the hopeful moments Jack shared with Lily. The universe had provided a small glimpse into what could be, but the eyes of his family still lingered in the back of his mind like an unwanted shadow. Jack found himself pacing at a coffee shop, glancing at the clock every few minutes. Today was supposed to be different. They had planned a casual outing to celebrate Lily's adventurous new job with a startup. She had been beaming with excitement as she gave him a rundown of her new role, little details illuminating her eyes as she spoke. When Lily arrived, her hair effortlessly tousled and wearing that vibrant yellow dress that made her shine, Jack's heart lifted. She slid into the seat across from him, and for a moment, the noise of the world faded away. "Hey there, gorgeous," he grinned, feeling light, as hope danced between them. "Did you miss me that much?" She laughed, her voice a melody that made his heart sing. "You know it," he replied, playful but sincere. But as they sipped their coffees, the heaviness of last week's dinner crept back over him like a thick fog. "So, how are you feeling about everything?" he asked, careful with his words. Lily's smile faltered slightly. "I'm trying to focus on the good, but it's tough. Sometimes I feel like a project they're judging instead of someone they could love." Her voice thinned, and Jack could see the shadows of doubt darkening her features. "No one knows you like I do," Jack urged, reaching across the table to squeeze her hand. "You're so much more than the challenges. I see your heart, your passion. That's what matters." She looked down at their hands, absorbing his words, but the tension was still there, an unspoken worry hovering between them. Just then, Jack's phone buzzed with a text. It was Mark. A simple message, but the casual tone felt like a baited hook. "Mom wants to have a talk this weekend. You should bring Lily." "What's wrong?" Lily said, her voice interrupting his thoughts. "It's nothing, just my brother wanting the family to get together again," he said, shifting uncomfortably. "But I'll handle it." "The storm?" she asked softly, squeezing his hand tighter, her eyes searching his. "Yeah," he replied, a knot forming in his stomach. "I think it's going to hit harder this time. But we're in this together, right?" "Right," she whispered, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. They spent the rest of the afternoon wandering the nearby art district. The colors and textures of the murals seemed to come alive around them, But Jack couldn't shake the looming weight in the back of his mind. He wanted so badly for his family to embrace Lily as he had, to see what he saw. As they walked hand in hand, Jack stopped to admire a bright mural of a phoenix, bursting into flames before rising triumphantly. "Wow, look at that one," he said, pointing. "Isn't it amazing?" Lily's gaze followed his. "It's beautiful, like a transformation." "Exactly. Just like us," he replied, an idea bubbling to the surface. "Maybe we can transform their perspective too." Lily turned to him, a flicker of hope in her eyes. "How?" "Let us invite them to that art fair next month, make a public stand about who we are, together. Show them the real us." Her mouth opened in surprise. "Are you sure? What if they don't respond well?" "We won't know until we try," he insisted, his own heart beating faster. "Together, we can face anything, right?" She nodded, inspiration burning behind her worries. "Okay, let us do it." In that moment, they stood together, ready to take on whatever challenges came their way. But Jack felt the weight of the world again. Would his family finally see Lily for the person she was, or would their stubbornness threaten to dim the light they were creating? As the sun began to set, painting the sky with bold colors, Jack glanced at Lily, determination flickering in her eye. They were stepping into the unknown, but they would do it hand in hand, inviting the world around them to change. The clock was ticking, and the countdown began. Would they be ready when the moment arrived to transform everything they believed? The next few days flew by in a haze of anticipation and nerves. Jack's mind raced with thoughts of the art fair. The idea of showcasing their love, their truth, before his family felt monumental. He could feel the heat of Lily's determination beside him, but his own fears clawed at his resolve. What if it backfired? What if it ruined everything? Saturday morning dawned bright and crisp. Jack had invited Lily over to help prepare for the family meeting. As they settled in his living room, he felt an electric energy. He could almost hear the heartbeat of the universe echoing with promise. "Okay, we've got this," he reassured her, trying to put his own anxiety at bay. "What do we want to show them about us?" Lily took a deep breath, gazing around the room. "I want them to know I care about you. I want them to see the real me, not just a reflection of their fears." Jack nodded, feeling warmth spread through him at her words. "We'll show them how happy we are together." As they sat on the couch, discussing how to approach the conversation, Jack's phone buzzed again. It was another message from Mark. "We're all set for tomorrow. Mom is really looking forward to it." "Your brother sounds a little too enthusiastic," Lily teased, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. Jack chuckled, though inside, his anxiety twisted tighter. His version of enthusiasm usually involves pressure for some serious heart-to-heart dialogue. Later that evening, they decided to take a walk to clear their minds. The air was cool, but the atmosphere between them felt charged. Several blocks away, they reached a small park. The trees were bathed in the glow of the setting sun, casting golden hues on the leaves, making it look enchanted. Jack liked to think of it as a hidden world, away from the chaos of their upcoming reality. "Look at those colors!" Lily exclaimed, her eyes dancing with delight as she pointed at the sky. It filled him with warmth, igniting a flame of hope. "It's like the universe is cheering us on." "Yeah," he replied, taking her hand. "If only we could bottle this feeling." As they sat on a park bench, watching the sun dip behind the horizon, Jack turned to Lily, seriousness creeping into his tone. "Are you sure about this? I mean, are you really ready for my family?" Her expression softened. "I want to fight for what we have, Jack. But you have to promise to stand by me. No more second-guessing." "Always," he said, leaning closer. Without thinking, Jack confessed, "I've never felt this way about anyone before. You're my anchor, Lil." Just then, a small group of kids ran past, shrieking with laughter, their carefree excitement cutting through the air like music. It was a reminder of innocence, of the joy that lay in connection. "Speaking of kids," Lily said, her voice playful, "do you think your family will see us having a serious discussion and start planning weddings and baby names?" Jack laughed, the sound bellowing in the serene twilight. "Honestly? Given my mom? Probably. Lily chuckled softly, but Jack noticed the shadow of uncertainty in her eyes again. You're not actually worried about getting a proposal, are you? No, not that. Just, what if they don't understand us? He tightened his grip on her hand, feeling the warmth radiate between them. They will. I'll make sure of it. As night fell, the stars twinkled overhead, their light faint but resolute. It was a reminder of resilience, of hope. With just hours to go before their fateful meeting, Jack knew that they had to face the storm. The real test lay ahead, and as he glanced at Lily, he saw her fighting spirit reflected in her eyes. Together, we can face anything, he whispered, and she nodded, determination sparkling in her gaze. But deep down, as his heart raced, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that tomorrow would truly change everything. Would they emerge transformed, or would old wounds resurface, threatening to pull them under? The morning light peeked through the curtains, casting soft shadows in Jack's room. Today was the day. With a pulse of adrenaline, he rolled out of bed and felt the weight of both excitement and dread. Adrenaline coursed through his veins as he prepared for the unknown. In the kitchen, he put together a simple breakfast. The smell of coffee filled the air. Lily was due to arrive any minute. He could hear the soft murmur of the city waking up outside, unaware of the monumental moment that was about to unfold within his walls. Hey! Lily entered, her smile brightening up the gloom of his nervous thoughts. She looked stunning in a simple blue dress that hugged her form perfectly. I brought some treats, she said, showcasing a small box filled with pastries. Jack grinned. You just want to sweeten me up before the big talk. Maybe I do, she winked, placing the box on the table. As they ate, upbeat chatter drowned out the fears swirling in Jack's mind. They talked about their favorite memories, the little things that made them laugh, and the hopes they planted in each other's hearts. But as the last crumb of pastry disappeared, silence enclosed them, the reality of the family meeting creeping back like a dark shadow. Are you ready? Lily asked, her eyes searching his. Jack hesitated. As ready as I'll ever be, I guess. Hey, she said softly, reaching across the table to take his hand. We'll get through this together. Her touch grounded him, the warmth seeping into the cracks of doubt. They quickly finished tidying the apartment, ensuring everything felt right even if the real weight lay well beyond the surface. Once they were ready, they stood side by side, gazing at their reflections in the hallway mirror. You look amazing, Jack whispered after a moment, a soft sincerity in his voice. Thanks, but it's you who looks ready to conquer the world. She nudged him playfully, but Jack could see the quivering edge of her smile, the uncertainty that was blooming more prominently than he wanted it to. As they stepped out into the cool air, the sunlight felt both bright and harsh. Jack's heart raced as they walked hand in hand toward his parents' house, each step measured and slow. They neared the familiar doorway that felt like a threshold between two worlds, one of comfort and one of judgment. Remember, no matter what happens in there, we are on the same team, Lily reminded him. He nodded, but doubt flickered in his mind, nagging like an unanswered question. Would his parents genuinely see what he saw in her? Would they broaden their perspective enough to embrace this unconventional love? Jack knocked on the door, his heart pounding like a drum. A moment later, it swung open, revealing Mark, who greeted them with a wide grin. You made it. Mom's in the living room, he said, stepping aside eagerly. Inside, the decor felt untouched, a museum of family memories. The air hummed with a mix of nostalgia and uneasiness. Jack approached his parents, who were sitting on the couch, a mix of pride and curiosity etched on their faces. Hi, Mom, Dad, he said, trying to sound casual, but his voice wavered slightly. This is Lily. Nice to meet you, Lily said, her smile genuine, though nerves flickered behind her eyes. Nice to meet you too, his mother replied, her enthusiasm clashing somewhat with the tension in the room. We're so glad you could join us. Jack glanced at Lily. They both understood that this was more than just meeting the family. This was an unveiling, an opportunity to showcase their love just as it was imperfect yet beautiful. For a moment, Jack's gaze drifted to the family photos lining the walls, moments captured in time. They were instant reminders of the history and expectations that filled the room. "Would you like something to drink?" his dad asked, breaking the silence. As Jack and Lily stepped further into the familial space, an overwhelming wave of vulnerability settled over him. Were they ready to dive into the deep end of scrutiny? The next words would be crucial. Jack squeezed Lily's hand tighter, bracing against the current of uncertainty that ebbed and flowed around them. Lily turned to him, eyes bright yet faltering. "Here goes nothing," she murmured, and as Jack opened his mouth to speak, poised to take that leap, a hesitation stopped him in his tracks. Would they embrace this connection, or would it unravel before his very eyes? The silence in the room felt almost deafening, and every heartbeat echoed with the question hanging in the air. What would fate decide on this day, acceptance or rejection? Would his family truly see their love, or would old fears silence them? Jack's mouth hung open, the words he had rehearsed slipping away like sand through his fingers. He glanced at Lily, grounding himself in the steady squeeze of her hand. The laughter of his brother Mark faded into the background, replaced by the gentle hum of his parents' expectations. "Actually," Jack began, forcing courage into his voice, "there's something we want to share today." Lily's eyes widened, brimming with a mix of fear and hope, her grip tightening around his. He could almost feel the weight of the moment pressing down on them, urging him to push through the tension. His mom leaned forward slightly, concern knitting her brow. "What is it, honey? You seem nervous." Jack swallowed hard, trying to shake off the uncertainty that clung like fog. "Lily and I are together," he said, his heart racing. "And we're serious about this relationship." There it was, the truth laid bare. His parents glanced at each other, the silence thickening, the air heavy with unspoken thoughts. Lily's breath itched beside him, and Jack's stomach dropped. "Together as in?" His father started, his gaze darting between them. "As in dating." "In love," Jack clarified, the tremor in his voice betraying his calm facade. His mother's smile faltered, shifting into an expression he couldn't quite read. "Oh, that's something," she said slowly, a hint of disbelief fluttering in her eyes. "What do you mean by serious?" Lily stepped forward, her voice steady despite the tension. "I love Jack. He means everything to me. I hope to be accepted as part of your family." Jack's heart soared at her words, her sincerity cutting through the unsettled air. Yet he could see the storm brewing on his mother's face, confusion merging with something deeper, fear of the unknown. "Acceptance isn't easy, my dear," his mother finally replied. We don't know you well enough." Jack wished he could erase the hurt creeping into Lily's expression. "I thought you would understand," he said, disappointment lacing his words. "I thought you would trust me to know what's best." His dad leaned back, arms crossing over his chest, a guard coming up. "It's not that we don't want you to be happy, we just what?" Jack shot back, frustration flaring. "Just because she's not who you imagined for me?" His mother's eyes flared, a mix of worry and maternal instinct sparking. "Jack, we've always wanted the best for you. That's all we're trying to do. That's not what this is about. It's about me and Lily. It's about what makes us happy." Lily's eyes shimmered, and Jack turned to her, wishing to shield her from this clash between love and expectation. But she stood tall, her vulnerability transforming into resolve. "I'm not trying to replace anyone. I just want to love him the way he deserves." Mark, sensing the rising tension, quickly intervened. "Hey, how about we all take a breath? Maybe we should hear more about how you both met." Jack appreciated the distraction, the opportunity to redirect the conversation. "We met at that coffee shop, right?" He chuckled awkwardly, striving for a lighter mood. "I spilled coffee all over her, and she called me a klutz. It was a disaster turned magic. I never thought I could find someone this special." Lily smiled at the memory, and Jack caught her eye, both of them exchanging unspoken assurance. "Magic," his mother echoed, skepticism reflected in her tone. "Sometimes it takes a bit more than magic, doesn't it?" Jack's heart felt heavy with the weight of her words, but he refused to let doubt suffocate hope. "Love can be messy, but it's real, and we deserve a chance. As the silence stretched again, Jack stood firm, ready to hear their thoughts. Would they push back or begin to soften? Each second felt like an eternity, tight with the unspent emotions swirling between them, and then, just as the moment thickened to a breaking point, his phone buzzed in his pocket, a notification breaking the tension. He reached for it, a distraction that felt both refreshing and alarming. What if it interrupted something important? As he glanced at the screen, he stiffened. An unexpected message flashed before him, words that could shift the course of the conversation forever. What is it? Lily whispered, barely containing her curiosity. Before Jack could answer, his eyes widened as a realization took hold. Could this be the moment that changes everything? Would love withstand the barriers ahead? With the unexpected message glowing under the afternoon sun, Jack faced his parents and Lily. The next chapter of their journey was at stake, the potential to rewrite the narrative they had all grown accustomed to. But was he ready to share this news? Jack's heart raced as he stared at the message on his phone. It was from an unknown number, but the words shook him to his core. We need to talk. It's about Lily. Panic set in, each word feeling like a stone dropped into a still pond, sending ripples through his thoughts. What's going on? Lily asked, her voice a mixture of concern and confusion. She tried to peek at the screen, but Jack quickly tucked the phone into his pocket, uncertainty lingering in the air. The last thing he wanted was to worry her further. His parents were watching him with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Despite their hesitations about Lily, they could sense something shifting in Jack. The gravity of the moment loomed larger than any argument, bigger than any predictions of acceptance. I'm fine, he forced himself to say, brushing off the anxiety swarming inside him. But with every heartbeat, he felt the pull of that message. Was it a warning? A threat? Or something benign? Jack's mother's voice was gentle, yet demanding. If something's bothering you, you can talk to us. It's okay. The safety of home felt deceptively secure, and yet suffocating. Jack glanced at Lily, her face etched with emotion, caught between hope and the growing heaviness of the moment. He didn't want to shatter her budding confidence with hidden communication or secrets unraveling at such a critical juncture, but the thought of facing whatever lay in that message was paralyzing. What if it exposed some part of Lily he didn't see? What if it threatened the very love he was here to defend? He needed to choose. Stay in this moment, surrounded by people who loved him, or dive into the unknown and risk everything he had just fought to protect. As if taking a deep breath wasn't enough, he blurted, I'll be back. Just, give me a moment. Jack, wait. Lily's voice wrapped around him like a safety net, but he was already stepping away, craving a breath of air outside the pressures of the room, away from the scrutiny of expectant eyes. The chill of late afternoon washed over him as he found a patch of grass away from the house, a tiny refuge that felt far too distant from reality. He pulled out his phone, thoughts racing. The screen sparkled ominously, almost challenging him to read it. With a trembling finger, he tapped the message open, his heart thudding louder than the wind rustling through the trees. The words glared back, stark, undeniable. We know about you and Lily. You want to ignore this. Who is this? He replied, his heart in his throat. Someone who cares. Meet me tomorrow. Private matter for her safety. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. What could this mean? Who were these people? And most importantly, how could he protect Lily from whatever storm was approaching? His mind raced with possibilities, the thrill of love now tangled with unease, creating a knot in his stomach. He wasn't just fighting for acceptance anymore. He was battling for something much more vital. As he stood there, uncertainty gnawing at him, a text from Lily broke the tension he felt with his secret. Jack, are you okay? Please come back. His heart ached, the weight of his dilemma crashing down on him. Could he bring her into this chaotic mix? Should he let her in on the darkness lurking? With a deep breath, he turned back toward the house, determination setting his shoulders. He had to face them, their expectations, Lily, and whatever awaited him in that message. Love deserved to fight, even against fear. As he walked back, He could feel the ground shifting beneath him, both terrified and exhilarated. Tomorrow loomed ahead, with secrets that begged to be uncovered and a love that yearned to be defined. What awaited him in that meeting would change everything, laying bare the truth that may transform their love story forever. Was he ready for the truth? The moment of discovery was approaching fast. Jack stepped back into the house, the familiar warmth closing in around him, but it felt different now. Each smile nestled in the corners of the living room, every gentle laugh echoing from the kitchen, suddenly seemed hollow. He walked slowly, his pulse still racing, every face he passed a reminder of the burden he carried. Lily was still sitting gracefully on the couch, her eyes searching his with worry as he approached. "You scared me," she said, the softness of her voice a balm to his turmoil. "What's going on?" He took a seat beside her, the distance of the outside world still lingering in his gut. "It's nothing. Just something I need to figure out." He hoped his tone didn't betray him, that his tight-lipped response sufficed to quell her concerns. But he could see the questions flickering in her eyes, the shadows of doubt creeping in. Lily leaned closer, resting her head on his shoulder, and he felt warmth seep back into his heart. In that moment, he wished it could just be them against the world, blissfully unaware of whatever dark forces loomed on the horizon. Yet, the truth weighed heavy. Every moment with her now felt like borrowed time. "What if I told you," he began, his voice barely above a whisper, "there was something we needed to address, something important?" She pulled back slightly, the softness in her expression crinkling into concern. "What do you mean? Is it about us? Has something changed?" Jack wanted nothing more than to envelop her in reassurance, but the urgency prickling at the back of his mind held him back. "No, nothing has changed." But sometimes he hesitated. What would he say? Sometimes, things outside can affect the inside. He saw her heart race under her gaze, the flicker of worry igniting to full flame, but before he could gather his thoughts, his father's voice broke through from the kitchen. "Dinner's ready! Come on, you two!" The unexpected interruption was a kindness. Jack stood abruptly and wrapped his hand around Lily's, guiding her toward the dining table. The normalcy of family life twisted in with his anxiety, but as he gazed into Lily's eyes, he found fragments of courage lodged in her warmth. Dinner felt like a whirlwind, food passing around, laughter flowing, but Jack's thoughts remained isolated in the gravity of the moment. Maybe he could share everything with her tonight. Maybe it would be safer done in the midst of ordinary life. Yet part of him hesitated, as if unveiling that darkness could taint the light they shared. As they lingered over dessert, Jack's mind wandered back to the message. What did "for her safety" really mean? He watched as Lily joked with his mom, her laughter illuminating the room, and he wanted desperately to protect that light. But was it even possible? What if the very act of keeping her safe drew her deeper into danger? His pulse quickened again, thrumming like a restless heartbeat. "Jack?" Lily's voice interrupted his thoughts, pulling him back into the moment. "Are you with us?" Caught off guard, he nodded, the smile slipping on and off his face like a flickering light. "Yeah, just thinking about tomorrow." Her brow furrowed slightly, concern resurfacing. "About what? What's happening?" He met her eyes, trapped between honesty and protection. "Just it's complicated, and I don't want to drag you into it." The uncertainty clouded the room again, but her unwavering gaze pushed through his fears. "Jack, whatever it is, we can face it together. You don't have to protect me from everything." Her words hung in the air, resonating with truth, igniting his longing. Love wasn't about shielding. It was about sharing the burden, wasn't it? But as he opened his mouth to respond, his phone buzzed again in his pocket, shattering the moment. The world outside had not forgotten them. It was still looming, still waiting. Jack felt his breath catch, and his stomach twisted tight. He had to make a choice. The secret could either bind them together or tear them apart. "Tomorrow," he murmured, almost to himself. "Tomorrow will change everything." Was he ready for that? And what would he have to sacrifice to keep Lily safe? The morning air was crisp, but Jack felt a simmering tension that clung to him like a heavy coat. He stood at the threshold of his parents' home, heart racing as he glanced at Lily, her warm smile offering a glimmer of reassurance. She was his anchor, his undeniable light, and today everything could change. Together, they would confront the looming storm. As they walked in, the familiar aroma of baked lasagna wrapped around them like a comforting hug. But each footstep felt like they were crossing into battle territory. Pushing through emotions, Jack reached for Lily's hand, intertwining their fingers, fueled by an unspoken resolve they would face this together. Jack's parents greeted them with forced smiles, masks of joy hiding the uncertainty that lurked beneath. "You both look well," his mother exclaimed, her voice a blend of warmth and an edge of cautious curiosity. "Thanks, Mom. We have something important to discuss," he managed, stomach twisting at the weight of what was to come. As they settled in, Jack felt the tension build, heavy like a thundercloud about to burst. The small talk felt like an appetizer before the main course of conflict. Glances exchanged between Jack and Lily were charged with anticipation, hope battling against fear. Would they accept her? At dinner, when the food filled their plates, Jack's heart hammered in his chest. "So, how has work been, Lily?" his father asked, his tone casual but already probing, searching for weaknesses. "It's good. I'm doing what I love again," she replied, her voice steady despite Jack sensing the unease vibrating in the air. His dad was trying to gauge her, testing her strength. "That's great. But are you sure you can handle being with my son, a CEO and all?" The hint of derision stung. A crackling silence hung in the air, the tension palpable. Jack clenched his jaw, frustration rising. "This isn't about my job. It's about how I feel for her." Lily's fingers twitched in his grip as Jack plunged deeper. "I love her, and for once, I want you to see what I see in her, a remarkable person who deserves your respect and acceptance, not judgment based on circumstances." Lily shot him a grateful look, a mixture of relief and hope swirling in her hazel eyes, but the reaction from his family was swift. His mother's face flushed, caught between disbelief and the flicker of understanding. His brother Mark shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "Jack," his mother began, the concern etching lines across her face. "We just want you to be happy, but no buts," he interrupted, his voice firm yet trembling. "I want you to know that I see the future with Lily, and it's beautiful. Not everyone fits a mold, and that includes me." The heavy silence coursed around them like a tidal wave. Jack's heart pounded. Was this it? Lily took a deep breath. "No one can judge what love truly is. I bring out the best in Jack, and together we inspire one another." The strength in her voice filled the room, banishing doubts that loomed like shadows. Jack could see the flickers of realization on his parents' faces, their love for him tempered by their discomfort meeting the unexpected. His mother's voice softened. "Jack, we never meant to undermine your choices. We just only believed what you thought you knew," Jack finished, crossing boundaries of their safe conversation. And then, in the quiet that followed, the phone buzzed on the table, a reminder from reality. Jack swallowed hard as the thoughts of yesterday's message resurfaced, troubled whispers about Lily's safety echoing in the background of this crucial moment. He had to confront this soon, but first, he needed to solidify their foundation. "Family means embracing every part of each other, insecurities and all," Jack said, a cautious tear sliding down his cheek. "And that's what I need from you right now." Lily met his gaze, her eyes shimmering with trust. The walls of doubt began to crack as his mother leaned forward, vulnerable. "If you truly love her, we will try to accept it. You deserve happiness." Jack's heart surged as hope bloomed between them, filling the air with warmth. "Then let us grow together," he said, "not apart." As if a weight had been lifted from their shoulders, laughter began to ripple through the room, tension melting like snow in the sun. Mark shared a funny story about their childhood, easing the atmosphere. Jack watched as Lily began to engage, her laughter blending effortlessly into the family's infectious chatter. The evening unfolded beautifully. But as the night reached its peak, Jack knew not everything would remain easy. The impending message loomed like a dark cloud on the horizon, and he would have to face it. Then, finally alone at home, sitting beside Lily on the couch, Jack took her hands in his. "There's something I need to tell you," he said, vulnerability washing over him. "Today was a win, but there's something threatening our future." Lily's expression shifted to concern as he shared his secret, the unopened message weighing both on his heart and on the future they dreamed of. "We'll face it together," she replied resolutely, a fire igniting in her spirit. Jack realized right there, through every storm that lay ahead, love would guide them. Vulnerable yet brave, they would weather anything together. In that moment, he knew this was a turning point, a path leading to an unexpected ending filled with transformation. The heart of their love was strong, the journey ahead might be stormy, but they'd weather it as one, a love story rewritten on their own terms. And as a new dawn broke outside, Jack squeezed Lily's hand tighter, ready to fight for their shared destiny. Hearts intertwined, ready to embrace whatever came next. Their love was now a shelter, a fierce bond strengthened, forged in the fire of doubt. This was just the beginning, and together, they would find a way forward. You need to subscribe now to witness the next phase of their incredible journey. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and keep these stories alive. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. True fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.